Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of For the Fan, episode number 148. As always, I am Will, and we got Colton, Jake, and Dom. Gentlemen, welcome.
Yep.
Happy Wednesday, another Wednesday. A crazy week in the world. I mean, CEOs, people named Luigi, sodas getting signed places. A big week for New York. And, well, I want to honestly express a little displeasure right now about the whole TikTok ban, where the DC's appeals court upheld the decision to where, hey, TikTok violates all these constitutional rights for America, all this kind of stuff, and it's really upsetting. Where we got a lot of people here on TikTok. It really helped us grow this brand. So thank you, Sonny, for liking the live. It's sad to see like a platform like this kind of get taken away from us, especially for how small we are. And we've exponentially grown so much over the last 5 months since our preview shows. So I want to just give a lot of credit here to TikTok, and I really hope that this ban does not go through. I know TikTok is upholding, going against this upheld that the DC appeals court put through. So hopefully we get this for, a little while longer. I know if you follow us, Dom and I, we kind of stream video games on here a little bit left and right. So we try to make sure we get a lot of content out there as much as we can. But that's my displeasure. That's my little grind your gears moment this week, brought to you by me, the TikTok ban. But yeah, that's all I got. Gentlemen, do you have anything you got before we hit the intro here?
I don't know. You kind of covered it with the alien invasion of New Jersey.
I didn't even mention the alien invasion of New Jersey. I just mentioned New York.
What? The representative for Ohio. Oh, I'm so glad Michigan's destroyed that state. That was going to be my sell, but since we're like off, kind of like football things to start off, I'm like, oh, this is a perfect place to throw because that was going to be my sell, and I still might double down and sell on it again because Ohio sucks, and I'm so glad Michigan has destroyed the state of Ohio. It is so amazing. God, what is wrong with the world? My boy
Keep
is so
politics out of sports. Politics not being sports. Take them out. Don't do it.
My man is so worried about Michigan planting a flag, turning that into a felony when we have other things going on in our world. Yet this is what my man's doing in office. This is what our government tax dollars are going towards. I'd be so pissed if I was this person in Ohio, knowing this is where my money's going for this ass clown to make a bill to ban, and it's a felony charge for planting the flag on the 50. Are you drunk? That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But again, enough of my rant. Screw Ohio and screw Mr. Josh Williams, that soft eggplant.
Eggplant's insane.
That's a wild thing. I'm going to hit the intro. But yes, you're listening to For the Fan.
No.
You are listening to For the Fan.
You can follow us on all these great platforms here. If TikTok does get banned, YouTube For the Fan Network, TikTok For the Fan Network, that a lot of people are watching us on right now, X For the Fan _ and Instagram For the Fan Football. As you can tell by my voice, I'm a little shot up right now. Some illness bug is trying to get me again, but I'm not going to skip out on a second show this season, so it ain't happening, bud. But you know what is happening? This report that's coming out of North Carolina here, where Bill Belichick formally agreed to become the next head coach of the University of North Carolina per On 3, which is one of the larger high school, college kind of platforms here. 6-time Super Bowl champion. He's won also 2 more. But yeah, crazy stuff going on here in the college world where the NIL's taken over. Scholarships don't really mean anything anymore if you get the NIL. But gentlemen, what are your guys' thoughts on probably the greatest decorated coach in NFL history now going down to the college ranks to maybe build up a new generation of players?
Looks like a missed opportunity for a lot of franchises in this league. When you look at teams like Atlanta, where he was linked to, and how much of a dumpster fire they've turned into with wasn't he an interim head coach, Raheem Morris?
Raheem Morris was the interim head coach when Dan Quinn got fired from the Falcons.
So pretty much a guy with no head coaching experience, giving him his first job in a franchise that needs a big move where we thought this made a ton of sense for Belichick. There was rumors he was going here, and apparently someone called him, talked I'm forgetting the owner's name of Atlanta, out of the Belichick thing. Yeah, this is good for UNC. And it's going to be low-hanging fruit. But for the fact that people think he can't recruit in college, my man's dating a 25-year-old girl or 24-year-old girl. I think he's going to be just fine getting along with college kids. So he'll be just fine. So, hey, it's big for UNC. It's going to be interesting how much money they give him to try to get him some talent, because that's what it comes down to. It's really, like you mentioned, it's NIL. So if they have some money to give him, we'll see what it turns into. So, again, he's more of a tougher head coach. That's kind of a lot of things we heard in the NFL with some guys. Didn't love playing for Belichick. So we'll see if he changes any of his ways of coaching. Again, he's successful for a reason. We'll see if he changes it. Again, we're coming into a society where kids are very all about themselves, not really putting in a ton of extra work type of thing. Kids are expecting things to be handed to them. So we'll see how it works in college. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's
the more unfortunate thing is yes, Atlanta, but you don't think the NFL team in the state could use them, and the Carolinas could use them?
That too. There's plenty of NFL teams in about 4 months, in about 2 months that could use him.
Not even 2 months. It's 3 weeks when all these guys get fired and all that stuff. All these coaching openings open and whatnot.
They have that weird period during the playoffs that you're kind of allowed to.
If you don't have a spot on it's mostly for rostered coaches. So if you're Belichick, who is just at NFL Films and all that stuff, he does inside the NFL with Ryan Clark and Chad Johnson and all that stuff. He's free to interview wherever. Obviously, a lot of people are okay, let's kind of get through the season, then we can figure out, slice it up how this roster is going to look, the GM position, the whole 10 yards there. So, but yeah, I know as what you said, Colton. It is a big missed opportunity, especially when you look at the Bears, who could probably use a guy like Belichick. The Jets, if he wants to resign 24 hours later on a freaking bar napkin again. And even looking at New Orleans too, there's another head coaching spot that's open. Am I mistaken here? The Jets and the Saints. I think there's one more, or am I just dreaming here?
The Chicago Bears.
Oh yeah, the Chicago Bears. As I mentioned them before. Jeez.
So you mentioned the Bears. So you're clean. It's just, I find the college thing interesting because there's a lot of work goes into college coaching. I mean, you saw Harbaugh leave, Saban retire. The sport's very different now with all the recruiting because you're not just recruiting high school kids anymore. You're now dipping in the transfer portal. So it's a lot of work here that goes into this, and that's I know Jake just mentioned Carolina as a job for him, going into the season. And we kind of talked about, you're not going to give Belichick a job like that because that's a rebuild. I know Carolina's playing a lot better now, so it's great, sure. But, same thing with Chicago. Atlanta made the most sense. It's kind of a win now in the next 2 years, Atlanta type of deal, where they give him the Carolina job. That's got to build a whole roster there. You got to give that 4 years to get up and turn into possibly even competing for a playoff win type of deal. I don't know.
I just thought Carolina because he'd be the kind of guy who would actually do something there because he always was coach GM.
Tepper's a weirdo, so I don't know how that relationship would have worked
for the job because he would have told him to go back to his home and leave me
alone. Go ahead. I know what you want to say. You want to go back to the
it's not.
Want to go back to the bathroom?
Oh no, that's just for Will. We'll get into the bathroom.
It's all about the bathroom. That's all that's about there.
Bill,
the bathroom.
He'd keep him out of his own building.
Sorry, David. I locked the doors, changed the locks on them. A lot of people were going in trying to, come in and, didn't want that to happen here. Everyone got a key except for you, but I didn't see you there. That would be the whole gist of that conversation there. The December league meetings are going on in Texas, and Goodell spoke a couple minutes ago. There's a lot of stuff that's being talked about there. And one thing that was talked about, we have seen in games, a lot of missed face masks calls. Obviously, they're not going to change a rule mid-season. This will go into, the off-season, March, and the summer meetings, try to figure out, okay, what can we do to, better off the game? And one mention of the face mask was brought up to where it could be subject to replay review. I don't know what you guys think on that. Obviously, we have pass interferences as, what's a pass interference call? Obviously, if you see someone's hand inside a face mask, obviously it should be a telltale sign like, oh, hey, it's a face mask, unlike pass interference, where it was, what is a pass interference?
This is how you fix this crap. Is not more review, not more things for them to lean on to be bad at their job. Find them when they're bad.
Or you hire referees.
Problem is these guys don't make enough money where you could find them.
Well, then that's a damn good incentive to not screw up, huh?
Well, I hear you. I mean, they're also human. I get it. It's a very and again, I hate the XFL and I hate the USFL, whatever the hell all these stupid off leagues are. I hate watching them. The talent's not good. But the thing I'll give them credit for is the Sky Judge. Like you tell me like they do the oh yeah, like where we don't go to review, like, oh yeah, he's clearly yard short, replay assist. Where the fuck is replay assist with that? It's not like it's a judgment call. Like, no. There's clearly a face mask. Like, I don't understand why someone can't buzz down like, yeah, we missed a face mask and throw it down. And it's like, oh, everyone starts booing. Then a replay pops up like, oh, no, 1,000,000% it's a face mask. You can't boo it. Like, and you go on with your day. Not where pass interference, we had all the, it's pretty much a judgment call. That's not a judgment call. Face mask is not a judgment call. It's clearly like, did he grab it? Yes or no? It's not a, how much contact? No, it's, did he grab the mask? Yes or no? It's very simple. You see, it should just be a replay assist thing. Jump in. Hey, Bob, you missed a call here. It's face mask on 51. And you go on with your day. The problem is they miss it. And that's the problem with the league is that you have so much money being wagered on in the sport. And these games mean so much more now in the regular season. It's just how you can't mess these things up. And they mess them up. That's the problem. When you have people betting a lot of money on these games, and that's it's fixed. When you have things like that are blatantly obvious, when like you see it, the players, like the coaches are losing their marbles on the sideline, the refs, I don't know, 5 yards from the play, and they miss it somehow. Yet the coach 20 yards, 25 yards away sees it. What are we doing?
Does college have something like that? I feel like I was watching one of the college games this weekend. I forgot which one it was, but I feel like they had a review like on the play, and then they found like a holding call or like some kind of penalty, and they like enforced it on the play. I don't know if college has that, or I'm just being super delusional because I'm trying to get over whatever illness I have. But does college have something like that?
The only penalty they review is if it's targeting, so they'll call it a potential targeting, and then they can throw it out with the review or uphold it. That's usually what they do. That's
probably what it was. I was watching Georgia, Texas, and there was the targeting call where right before Georgia's touchdown in overtime, and they reviewed it or whatever, and they gave it like a different penalty or whatever. Okay.
And the only difference on that is like whether they can then either it's targeting and they eject the guy, or just unnecessary roughness, whatever the 15-yard penalty is, but no ejection or no penalty at all.
I kind of what Colton was saying. I get like the like it's not a judgment call, it's a face mask, or it's not a face mask. Like that's clear as day, especially if you have the Sky Judge or whatever, you have like actual reviewable tape to go off of immediately. This is also a safety issue, so I feel like it should be more enforced, period. Like it's one thing for the refs to not see it on the field, it's another thing for then people officials watching tape live in front of a computer
3 weeks ago,
knowing it happened.
Mike was the referee because he missed 6 face masks against the Eagles.
I mean,
our players getting face masks,
and I don't even mean it being a yellow, throwing a flag and it being a penalty for yards. I'm also talking like This is a safety issue. That's always a safety issue. Any face mask or horse collar is a safety issue. That's a safety part of the game. That is something that is worth not missing, period. The league is worth, or it's always worth it for the league to enforce, no matter what. Whether we want to say the judges or the officials on the field are doing a good job, bad job, missing calls, whatever, it's a different story when you have someone watching it live, knowing it's a face mask, and then just carrying on with the game without it being enforced when it's a safety issue. I mean, injuries come face masks, horse collars all the time. So, it's worth enforcing, and it's stupid that any official can watch it and just be like, yeah, well, they didn't call it, and continue on. That's not okay.
Like I said, it's just the fact that safety also, like what you're saying, Dom, it's a quick fix.
Yeah.
It's a very quick it's not like, oh, cool. It's like I was watching the Michigan-Arkansas basketball game last night, and they're reviewing every little freaking nook and cranny of the game, and then the guys are losing their marbles on the broadcast. Like, what are we doing here? Like this, we've had 2 reviews in the last, 15 seconds of play, and it's taking 5 minutes to review all this. It's not like, oh, cool, another thing to review. It's going to take 20 years. No, this is a quick fix. You have a guy upstairs watching the game. Like, we see it from our couch. So, like, imagine a guy up in the freaking booth, all the TVs there. Like, quick buzz down, and it's fixed. 15 penalty, move on with their day. And, like, I just don't understand how this wasn't a thing going into this year with all the technology we have. And the thing is, it's not a judgment call. This isn't a judgment call. Like, that's the thing that also drives me nuts why this isn't already under replay, like in replay assist. I don't understand it. I also think the NFL thinks they're way too good to have like a rule like the XFL with the Sky Judge. It just would make things so much smoother. I just don't understand why they're like fighting this tooth and nail.
Also, like, if it wanted to be, if you didn't want to do it purely based off of the game's already so choppy with commercial breaks, it takes however long. We don't want even more things to stop the game. Again, like you said, people are watching this all the time. Just allow it to be hey, radio down, boom, done. Then just whistle. Hey, number.
It's not a long thing. Like I don't understand. Like again, what was it? I forget how early in the season was it the face mask on Sam Darnold. Like we always talk about, let's have great endings. You ruined a great ending because you freaking missed a call, a blatantly easy missed call. And instead you ruin a possible great ending for a safety. Like it's just, I don't understand. Like I said, I think they'll fix it. But the problem is like, I really wonder who's running these leagues at times. Like you're just thinking of this now. Like you didn't think of this like after the first one of the season, like with the Sam Darnold play. I'm like, we got to fix this. Like we're thinking of it just now. Like, what are you guys doing in the office? You just raking all this money and like put your feet up on the desk and do nothing at work? Like I don't understand. Like how is it? Again, we're casual fans. I won't say we're casual. We're nut fans. But, like we're fans, and like how do you not realize? Oh yeah, there's a bunch of people wagering on our sport, and you're telling me they're not thinking things are fixed when you're missing things like that. Yeah. Like that's the problem. So let's cut that out and let's fix it. And the problems are you're just like figuring this out now. Like, come on. That's the problem with me with this.
I think it's just also the problem. Like, it's not like for this one, it probably wouldn't be a long review. Like you said, like you touched on. Time they're looking right at the guy, and they're so busy about like every little. You're an inch past for a legal man downfield this season.
Yes,
you'll miss every freaking face.
I know. And they'll miss every false start too. God Almighty, I'm tired of seeing all the mixtapes of false starts missed in a game. Please.
Yeah. Ronnie Stanley's whole week 1 debacle.
And all pro.
Orlando Brown against the Steelers last week. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like I said, I don't understand. I'm not here to critique officials because again, I get the job's hard, but like I just don't understand why there's no replay assist and like why this isn't taken care of. It just takes a lot of questions out of things. Like I don't understand. Like I said, we've talked about it for a while now. I don't want to keep going on and repeating myself, but this is an easy fix. Why is this going on now? Why is it just being talked about this late?
My whole thing is it's also one thing to critique refs. It's another thing to critique the league. These are rent-a-refs still, basically. The league needs to move on to having a paid ref staff. the NHL does it, and then those refs have their own camps off season and their own workouts, do their own thing. It's a whole union, everything that it is, and they're objectively better refs than some of these other sports. They're stronger refs. They're more in shape ref for sure. It's not close because they go through these camps. There's a whole physical element to it that they got to pass. Everything like that, because the league's able to control it. It's able to be a more controlled thing. You have your own refs. And that's another portion of this league. And Rodgers touched on it every offseason for the last couple off seasons where he denied even the notion of having refs, which is absurd with the profit they make. It's
also absurd when they're every year they're getting worse.
Yeah, that's how
they're
it
getting
feels.
Worse and worse every year.
Yeah.
So it's like then you just open the door fully to the games are rigged because they're like perfect example is they're so inept that the end of the Raiders Chiefs game looks like a fix because they're so inept and they don't know what the hell they're calling half the time. That guy comes in, says false start, then no, it's a legal shift, and now the play stands.
Don't get me started. Don't do it. Don't do it. I know, but you're right. You're right though. You're like I don't want to get going on it, but you're right. Like it's just it makes zero sense. I don't understand how. Like you are again. I don't even want to talk about it anymore because I could talk about this for like a whole 20 minutes. This could be a whole show on like the officials, top league in the United States in North America. It's the most popular sport, and yet the officials are just the complete jagoffs.
The last 4 weeks, I've had it up to here because the officiating.
Dude, it's been the whole season. It's not even just the whole seasons. They've been horrendous. And like you said, they're getting worse every season. Again, I'm not here to critique. It's hard. I'm not in their shoes on the field, seeing how fast these guys are moving and everything. But like, I just don't understand how things aren't fixed, and it's the same shit. Like I don't get it. I don't understand. I really don't.
It's more
I will
theory
say
that they're clearly cracking down on one thing but missing everything else.
Yeah,
yes, they've made it a big key at the start of the season. Like the first 2 weeks, it was making sure everyone's lined up with the tackles. The tackle's on the line and not too far back, and the illegal man downfield. Yet we missed face mask penalties left and right. I don't get it.
That. I will say, when me and Will first started this show, when we started For the Fan in 2017, we specifically spoke on it where we will never really like criticize the refs. I was very adamant of never saying, hey man, there's so many plays in a game. If it came down to one play and a ref got it wrong, I'm not blaming the refs. I'm blaming the team because you could have been up already. Like you had a whole game worth of stuff where you won. But I'm never going to my whole thing was I'm never going to do the ref thing because I don't think it's worth it. You had a whole game to succeed, and it came down to one play, and that's how for not succeeding the rest of the game better. But it's gotten to a point in the past, really since I started coaching, it's gotten to the point where I've kind of taken that out of my own lane, and I've kind of gone back on that, and I'm disappointed I have. But it's
you're not wrong though. You're not wrong because I used to be the same way when not blaming refs. But the thing is, once you like look at those penalties where it's like, oh my god, that's an awful pass interference call. Where okay, cool, you just gifted them 30 yards and you gave them points like that. Okay, cool, that's a third down play. Say it's an incomplete pass or getting off the field. I know the Steelers had it against the Colts earlier this year. He called I think it was an unnecessary roughness on Minka on the sideline on the hit, which I always hate. They bring in whoever's you're watching CBS. Gene Steratore comes in. Mike Pereira comes in, and it's like, oh, yeah, that's not a penalty. Great. Good for you. I don't need you fucking telling me it's not a penalty. No shit, it's not a penalty. Yet they called on the field, and here we go. There's 15 yards, and it ends up points on the board. Like, it's the same thing. So, like, I agree, Dom. I hate doing that switch where you don't blame the refs for again, impacting the game because you have the whole other 60 minutes. But, again, it results in points. Like, if a drive results in points because of their penalty, that's what it is. Like, I've kind of changed my tone on it too. I've always kind of like I don't want to crap on the refs for changing a game, but the more you look at it and like when you start betting on games, like damn, I lost like a point in the spread. It's like no, I got hosed on a point because that penalty resulted in ended up getting a field goal for them where it's a punt and there's no points. So
we had to speak on that point, the game against the Rams we had, every time they wanted to go by 3 scores and people turn the game off at that point for a night game, suddenly the Rams marked on the field penalties and score to keep it within margins.
And it's
Every
also
time.
it's also one thing to say, like, we could blame the refs and we could say that's a thing, right? Or not, whatever. But there's also, whether it's true or not, there's also just still the amount of optics that exist. There's still the amount of money that people have in the game. Like, the optics of it, no matter what, whether anything rigged is happening or not, the optics are going to be bad, period. So it's just like, even for the optics side of it, it's worth correcting some kind of fashion, man. I don't know. It's just, the fact that this is a conversation worth having now sucks. I hate that. That's my least thing ever, because I always was, it was a principle of mine and a belief of mine, a view of mine, to say, I'm never going to have the ref conversation. I hate that conversation. I hate blaming the ref. I'm never going to do that.
Now you have to.
Now we
You
live
have
in a
to now.
world, unfortunately, it happens too much. It sucks.
And you know what we have to? And you know what we have to talk about? Will's favorite part of the show.
Injury, yeah. Thank you
Injury
for
roundup.
segue. Thank you for making someone.
Poor Will's. I've seen Will like sitting here, he does a gets his
Kinda.
breath going. Next minute, where he sits there again.
He changed
Well, now
3 times too. By the way, he changed the title like 3 times. This came up at one point, injury roundup, and then we just kept going. That was
Well, now it's official. Bill Belichick is now the head coach of North Carolina, which obviously we talked about in the beginning of the show. Now it's official. Yeah. I don't know. That's just wild to me. I don't know. We're in that weird part of like the Madden simulation.
Yeah, I got the call.
Jake got the. You didn't see that?
I saw it.
I just broke the news, you know.
He turned down job. OC turned it down. It's below him. It's crazy.
Why?
So
Top echelon school, not UNC.
So let me go over these injuries really quick. So for Thursday night, the 49ers ruled out Trent Williams and Malik Mustafa. Isaac Guerrero is questionable, and Dre Greenlaw practiced in full today, so he should be making his season debut tomorrow. Rams ruled out Tyler Higbee, who's still coming back from the ACL injury and from the playoffs last year, and Kobe Durant with a chest injury. Rams are listing Demarcus Robinson and Jordan Whittington as questionable for this game. Noah Brown for the Commanders, likely out for the rest of the season with internal injuries. So in response to it, the Commanders claimed KJ Osborne off of the waiver wire. Justin Herbert was not on the field to start practice today. So that is a, little alarming situation going on there for the Chargers, who ankle injury, then a knee injury that he suffered. Aiden O'Connell, who was carted off the field in an air cast. It looked like a very gruesome injury. Antonio Pierce said that it did not look very good. A bone bruise, so that's very positive news for the Raiders quarterback. He was at the start of practice, but they play on Monday night, so that is a good sign for the Raiders. And speaking of quarterbacks, Tommy DeVito will start against the Ravens, as Drew Lock is in a walking boot due to a heel injury. Keon Coleman and Dalton Kincaid are expected to practice in full Wednesday. So a big step for the showdown of the season as they go to Detroit and have to play the Detroit Lions. Colts Josh Down practice today. Ryan Kelly and Jalen Carlees are designated to return from IR. And Braden Smith is dealing with a personal matter and is not expected to travel with the team to Denver on Sunday. And one Jets thing, Breece Hall is still struggling a bit with his knee. He's not improving as much as they were thinking, but there is no point in shutting him down for the season. So we might have another week of Braylon Allen for the Jets. Okay. Do we want to talk fantasy football, or do we want to go over a couple questions here? Because it is 5:30.
Yeah. We got questions. Let's do.
All right. Fantasy football talk. Here we go. Alex said Darnell Mooney or Nick Westbrook, Akine at his flex spot. The great 20 catches and 8 touchdown reception god called Nick Westbrook Akine.
Home runs.
It's playoffs, man. Go for the home.
Go for the guy downfield.
You either win or you lose. There's no middle.
Let's see. Isaac Guerrero, Isaiah Pacheco, Adams, DJ Moore, or Rico Dowdle for flex.
Holy cow, that's a lot of guys for the flex.
Yeah, dude.
I would go Devontae. He's playing the Jaguars, so I would expect, at least the Jets to have a lot more firepower this week, especially against the bottom 3 defense in the league for Jacksonville. And then Brandon says, Jordan Addison or Calvin Ridley? I would have to go Addison here. Addison's been popping off the last 2 weeks. He's been really coming into full here. I think he's the man, so I would go with Jordan Addison. Alex says, should I start Nick Westbrook-Ikine? I think that's a strong yes across the board here. Go for the home run hitter.
Go for the home run.
Over
man.
who? What was it again? Over who?
Let me slide up here. Darnell Mooney.
Yeah,
Darnell Mooney's very good, though. I say Darnell Mooney. Don't they play like Vegas this week?
They do play in Vegas this week.
Yeah, I would say Darnell Mooney, and I only say that as a pissed off Westbrook and Ikine starter this past week. Like, I'm like, oh, dude, this guy's been great. I'm like, oh, they play Jacksonville. He should be great. Nah, he sucked. Hell no. Screw that guy.
I mean, the
Give
sucky
me
part,
Darnell Mooney.
the thing about both of these guys is they have like 3-point weeks and then they have 20-point weeks each. They're essentially a very similar take no matter what.
They're home run hitters. It's either they suck or they got get you a lot of points.
Yeah. You know what? When in doubt, when it comes to 2 receivers, I would take the targets unless you're neighbors, because obviously you have all the targets, but the throws suck.
The Ducks throw.
What you know what? Honestly, their targets are kind of similar. That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. He gets more touchdowns. They're the
Yeah,
same.
they put like Westbrook in the flex ever since D-Hop left, so
And they both play terrible defenses. I don't know, man. They both play awful defenses. One plays the Bengals and suck, and the other plays Vegas, and they're kind of bad. So
Mooney's always prone for a good drop too.
oh, Mooney has drops targets. So does Westbrook-Ikine. I don't know, man. That's not so tough. I still might say Westbrook-Ikine because he had a bad week, whereas Mooney had a good week. So,
and this is a revenge game. Callahan was the former OC of the Bengals, so you could have a villain arc here. So he knows how to play Lou Anamuno's defense. So I mean, probably knows how to play it a lot better because it's so terrible now.
I think everyone knows how to play this defense.
Yeah, just you could throw up any prayer and it'll always be answered.
I don't even need to know.
Wide open CD Lamb on the first drive. The only receiver for Dallas. Wide open. Damn, Homer Simpson had a tutty pass. Like, come on.
Yeah, Lisa Simpson broke Homer's ankles. That was a great clip.
Dude,
that was awesome.
It was clips.
That stream was hysterical.
They were
And
unreal.
the clown, he's like, oh, Clown College, a.k.a. ASU.
They were
No way. It's pick 2, Brian Thomas Jr., DJ Moore, JT Guerrero, if he plays. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Man, I would have to say DJ Moore. Who do the Bears play? Bears play the Vikings. Man, I don't know. Jonathan Taylor, ever since Richardson came back, he's just not the same player, and he's just like a single-digit guy now.
They load the box up.
Yeah, it's kind of true.
That's the problem. You have 2 guys that can run the ball now. It's like very similar to Pittsburgh's offense.
I mean, I don't think
Najee Harris stunk with Fields. Russ starts. Najee Harris is very good. It's very similar, honestly. Just roles reversed.
I think Brian Thomas could be the play here because if the Jets don't have Sauce Gardner, who does have like a hamstring injury, I mean, I'm not really too scared of the guy on the other side. I mean, look at Jalen Waddle and Tyreek. They feasted the entire time. So I would say Brian Thomas and DJ Moore, maybe start Guerrero if he plays. But we won't know till 6:45 tomorrow. So that'll be that there. Brendan came in and says, second question, Tua, Murray, or Herbie fully loaded as a quarterback here?
Did you actually say Herbie fully loaded, or did you?
No, I said Herbie fully loaded.
Tua or Herbert?
Tua, Kyler Murray, or Herbie?
I think
Kyler's due for a good week.
Oh.
Yeah, you think Kyler?
Cardinals play the Patriots, so I think, the Patriots got to go all the way out to Arizona to play. So,
But
I think Kyler's due for a good week. I mean, Tua could have. Are they in Houston in the dome there?
they are in the dome for.
that defense has gotten cooked on multiple occasions, though.
See, the thing is, like, I'm starting to believe that it's really.
I'm starting both guys, so I'm starting Tua and I'm starting Kyler, so I really can't say much.
Can I throw Herbie in this conversation, because Tampa Bay is 32nd ranked against quarterbacks in fantasy?
Yeah, but is he going to play?
Herbert?
Yeah, Herbie will probably be back. I mean, he just wasn't there to open the open portion of practice. It's a leg injury, so it's the ankle as well as a leg contusion.
He'll be fine.
He should be fine. He didn't practice today, but he should be fine. I mean, like, that might be a start. I mean, if they're really truly 32nd ranked against quarterbacks, that's considerable. Like, that's worth mentioning at least. You know?
Herbert's probably my second favorite quarterback.
Season. The only issues with this is with Kyler, you can get the extra points on the extra things that he does when capable. You know,
I think he's going to have a bounce back game because the Seahawks absolutely cooked him last week, and the game just was so unreachable by the end of the first half that he wasn't going to be able to get that comeback.
God, I don't know how to feel about the Seahawks ever. The most insane thing ever right now.
I'm still leaning to it.
Yeah, Tua still might be a move, dude. Just because, it works.
And we got Scooby Dooby who comes back for another week here. Cortland Sutton, Ridley, J-Mo, D-Hop, DK, McConkey, or Shakir for wide receivers 1 and 2. I'll repeat this again. Cortland Sutton, Calvin Ridley, Jamison Williams, D-Hop, DK Metcalf, McConkey, or Shakir.
I'm starting Lad 1,000,000%.
100%.
If Lad plays, it's Lad McConkey. And I gotta say, I think it's gonna be a shootout.
Shakir's the best yards after catch receiver this year, which is crazy to think about.
That's the exact combo I'm starting in the league right now. Those two this week. So I 100% agree with that. 100% agree. Shakir is their best receiver, by the way. So, I mean, I don't even know why it's a conversation. And Josh Allen's best quarterback right now.
God, Josh Allen put up such a big week this week.
So, I mean, Shakir, one of the biggest sleepers, hands down. But he's good. So I think both those guys, Lad and Shakir, I think are both. That's the move. I really didn't know you guys were going to say those two, because that's on that list. That's crazy, but it's true.
Brandon came in and says Jordan Addison, Cortland Sutton, Scary Terry, Nico Collins, Jerry Jeudy, pick 3. I think it's right there. You got to start Nico Collins and you got to start Jeudy.
Yeah.
I think Scary Terry over Jordan Addison. I don't like it, but also without Noah Brown, who's out the rest of the year, I think, he's going to get a lot more targets and receptions. And they're playing the Saints, man. And, that homecoming for Daniels.
Terry was the one I would like when you said it. I was like, okay, definitely you. Yeah.
I really want Addison in there, but I know, you can only pick 3.
Yeah, but also with Addison, even though he's ball, you always have to consider like the T. Higgins thing. You always got to consider that there's Jefferson there.
Jefferson's
the elephant in the room. Jamar Chase is there, and Justin Jefferson are on the other side, so it's not really ideal. Where Scary Terry is kind of the only soldier there,
and Terry's been very consistent, other than Guantanamo Bay.
Guantanamo.
Terry's been a great start every week. You can't discount that. Yeah, what you got, Will?
A person in here, Alex, is any update on Bucky Irving? And I'm gonna find an update for you right now because I know he left the game last week and he didn't return. He was seen participating in practice. I don't know if that is a limited capacity or a full capacity, but at least he practiced in some way, so that's a good sign.
I hate that there's 80 million running backs there in Tampa Bay, Because Bucky Irvin's been the guy, and then like I started him last week, and it clearly got hurt, not his own fault. But like, oh, it was a Rashad White show. So then it's like, oh, okay, cool. Going into this week, if Bucky's banged up, why the hell would you start Bucky Irving when Rashad White had the good week he had? Like, that's what sucks. Dude,
you're gonna get the third guy who came in when like White was out, and then he's gonna come in just like take all the
fantasy football when it comes to teams with 80,000 running backs like that. Like, sure, I know Rashad White and Bucky Irvin have been great together. The thing is, like, Bucky's hurt. They're not going to run Bucky into the ground because they're probably right now in the front row seat to win that division because the Falcons blow balls.
They got a game ahead, I think, so they do have a full game.
They have a full game. The problem is, though, they lose and Atlanta wins. They have the tiebreaker Atlanta. So that's kind of the problem with the Bucs. But.
Yeah, I had to go against Josh Allen, Tua, Rashad White, Jordan Addison, Juwan Jennings last week.
Yeah, I went against Josh Allen. I balanced it out, though. But I'm going to save my balance it out, though, for my, my buy, say, or holds for later on.
I mean, I won my week. I beat Jake's point record, which was set in the league for 5 years. I beat it by 1.8 points.
I hate him so much.
I hate him so much.
So much.
Jamar and Joe got me it. So now I keep a 13-win streak ahead going into the playoffs. So,
do we have a couple more of it? No, Will.
Yeah, we do have a lot more.
I know SC said Waddle, Brian Thomas Jr., or Amari Cooper for wide receiver 2. I'm going to take this one, guys. Waddle for sure. Amari Cooper's like not a stud at all. Waddle's had a few good weeks now, like 20-point weeks. So I think Waddle's a clear start out of those three, to be honest. And the connection, like that's your best connection out of those three connections right now.
Who the goat says Isaiah Pacheco or Josh Jacobs? I would have to say it's Jacobs. This week, I would go with them. I mean, hey, Brad the hot hand, 3 touchdowns, another 60 yards rushing, couple catches.
Beautiful.
Ethan says, I need help, dog. Juwan Jennings or Cortland Sutton? I would have to say Juwan Jennings.
I would say Juwan Jennings as well.
Lowe says, King Bo Nix for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
It's crazy. But we get it, but it's crazy.
Let's see.
This next one's wild. I don't know.
What is it?
You want me to read that, right?
Yeah,
is that what
read
you're
it.
saying this to me?
I don't even see what you're seeing. So like,
next comment.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to read them. No, it's a great name. Pacheco or Flowers in the flex. I see. That's actually a tough question though, because
can you read it? Can you read it, please? You two both chuckled. Can you both read it, please? Just read it. Come on, just read it. I can't see it, so this is not fair to me.
Spread cheeks, not hate. His name.
Oh God, this is great. Okay,
I hope TikTok doesn't get banned. Please don't get banned.
What was the question? Was it Pacheco and what?
Pacheco or Flowers for the flex? I don't know, because Zay just threw a fit about Lamar, or he's been throwing fits about Lamar and not Lamar and his throws and not getting the ball and stuff.
Then he's gonna get the ball. That's like the whole like.
Zay was great. I just don't know how we've been doing recently with it. I just know that he's unhappy at times recently.
They're playing the
they are in
Giants.
the bye,
They're going to urinate on the Giants. Oh God.
They might bench all their starters by like the third quarter because they'll be like such a rout.
We again, the podcast I do yesterday, we do picks. We pick 3 games. I couldn't believe it. I picked the Ravens at 14.5. I couldn't believe I picked that big of a number, but the Giants fucking suck.
Yeah, you got Tommy DeVito, so they won't score points until like the first minutes of the fourth quarter.
I couldn't believe I took that spread.
Gosh, I don't even know who to pick. So Zay Flowers has not had good numbers the last 4 weeks. They've all been under 11 points. I'm gonna run the ball a lot, dude. Like a ton.
I'd go Pacheco.
Yeah. Pacheco hasn't been the best in the last 2 weeks. I get he's coming back from injury, but like I just don't think the Ravens are gonna throw much. They don't need to. They'll just like run and win, and that's it. Because that's all they need to do against that team. So it's like whatever.
Be done throwing the ball by the first quarter.
Yeah. I don't know if ever throw the ball.
They're going to try. I think only thing is they may run it up early and then bench guys because the Steelers are the next week and they have to have it against Pittsburgh. So they might try to blow out the Giants early, where you could get a Zay Flowers tutty early.
Yeah, but
that's my only thing. Then they're just gonna take guys out. They might look like pretty much put up 35 in the first half and then just pull starters. To be honest.
Yeah. Let's do a couple more. Adrian says start 4: Mooney, Cup, Wilson, Devontae Smith, Jameson, and Najee. Great. Mooney, Cup, Wilson, Devontae Smith, Jameson, Najee.
I would say Cup and Wilson are a lock. I think
Cup.
Devontae. No, Devontae's not going to get the ball because AJ Brown's been bitching so much. So he's going to get like 17 catches for like 1,000,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. So I don't think Devontae's the start this week. But I think Jameson Williams, they're going to use like a lot of like trick packages, trick plays and stuff. So I think Jameson Williams could have like an emergence of a day.
Yeah, I would say Williams.
How's Najee
Cup. I think the Steelers are going to struggle offensively this week.
Okay. Yeah, they don't got Pickens this week.
I definitely am jumping all over the Philadelphia spread this week. Sorry, Pittsburgh. I love you guys. It's been a fun season. No George Pickens this week. Instant butthole this offense is going to be, sadly. And they haven't won in Philly in 60 years. They're not winning this weekend.
Here.
They suck in Philly, in case there's a little historical thing going into any games this week. The Steelers haven't won in 60 years in Philly.
Was that the game where like Darren Sproles had like 150 like receiving yards? It was the year the Eagles went to the Super Bowl. Was that the last time they played in Philly?
No, the last time they
played last year or the year before in Philly.
It won his rookie year and then last year.
Okay.
That was like the Wentz game.
That was his rookie year where they played. I thought that was the Super Bowl year. Okay. I got it. Reese says, who F-Flex? Brian Thomas Jr. or Zach Ertz? I kind of like Zach Ertz here a little bit. I'm very against 2 tight end starts, but I think Zach Ertz could be a big play, especially with Noah Brown being down. That might be a good play.
I would say Brian Thomas. The fact that did he have 10 targets?
Yeah, he had a lot of targets, and he had like 100 and like 100 yards.
He had 8 or 9 catches for over 100. He had a very good game.
You might have to go BTJ then, man.
I'd probably ride Brian Thomas Jr., but I get what you're saying with Zach Ertz. I grabbed him because he was just sitting there in fantasy for no reason, so I grabbed him just as a possible debate throw in at tight end.
Jackson says Thielen or Patrick Taylor. I would still have to go Thielen. Thielen's been half weeks, like 20 plus 30 point weeks. I mean, he's been fantastic since he's come back injury. Now that Bryce is like playing. All right, not 30 point weeks, but 20 point weeks. I kind of would ride that, dude. It's working. I mean, Thielen had 11 targets last week, 10 targets the week before. Hey, that's a move. That's a start. You get a start.
And thank you for the follow. Spread cheeks, not hate. Number 1 name, baby. Here we go. Let's get this last. Let's do one more here. And thank you, Nate, for the follow. Pick 2 says Nate, Brian Thomas Jr., Adam Thielen, Tyrone Tracy, or Keenan Allen. Thielen's a lock out of those 4.
I'd borderline think Tyrone Tracy too, bro.
Dude, I don't know if they're going to be able to run the ball on the Ravens.
The Ravens have a really good run-stopping defense, but the pass defense is absolutely atrocious.
That's true.
They're
number 1 in one thing and number 32 in the other part.
Who was the other? It was Keenan Allen, Tracy, and who was the other person?
Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Let's get over these couple little of other little things here. Which performance from Week 14 stood out to you guys as well?
I'm not taking. There's a few that are out there, so I'm assuming everyone's going to grab something differently. So I'm going to grab the man who counteracted my Josh Allen opponent this week. Zach Charbonnet, the former Michigan and UCLA Bruin, is my performance of the week. Zach Charbonnet.
Sipping on that Chardonnay. That's what he's been doing.
He's so good when Walker's not there. Like
it's like Rashad Penny when like he emerged after like the injuries in the Seahawks backfield a couple years ago.
It's so plug and play for Charbonnet.
He sucks when he's a backup, but he's great as a starter.
That's why he's a handcuff. Like I don't handcuff usually. Like I have Barkley, so it's like, oh, you think you would handcuff? No. I handcuff Kenneth Walker's. He's always hurt. Like he's always down to miss 4 or 5 games. And Charbonnet is easily picking up where he put down. And that's Charbonnet.
I'll take the low-hanging fruit here. My man, Sam Darnold. 5 tutties, a 157.4 quarterback rating. Oh, man, career highs all over the place, dude. And then cooked Kirk Cousins' return to Minneapolis. So, yeah, I'll pick Sammy D any day of the week.
I'm just going to take it because not everyone's avoiding it. The absolute spoon-feeding performance for Jamar Chase.
That's what I was going to say.
Just, hey, here you go. Yeah. Like, T. Higgins was getting visibly angry during the game.
Oh, yeah. This kind of puts this game single-handedly puts Jamar in the, like, now he's top dog, no conversation right now. Like, he's the best in the league right now statistically, and I don't think it's close. 15 touchdowns? I think he's the first receiver to hit 1K this year.
I think, if you don't want to count, like, when, like, games are played and stuff like that, because, like, he played Monday night and compared to, like... Oh, no. Never mind. Yeah, he's way ahead. I was thinking of something else.
Way ahead.
I was looking at ESPN's, like, they have, like, the projection things. A bust for Jamar this week is a 20.6 point week. That's a bust.
Yeah. So Jamar put himself ahead of the conversation with this week, and he also inserted himself in the offense player of the year conversation, like, single-handedly this week. So I think Jamar's performance this week was nuts, and I think it did a lot for him this year. Awards-wise on it, or at least accomplishment-wise. I mean, 15 touchdowns as a receiver is nuts.
By the way, it is so crazy when you look at, like, if you were to, the number of times like people do like the blind test, like player A and player B. Like if you were to put up Joe Burrow's and Jamar Chase's numbers and like put these players to what their record is.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, you'd be so stupid. This is great. I can't believe how bad this defense is. It is so crazy.
God. 33 touchdowns and 6 interceptions for Burrow, which is just MVP gaudy numbers. And he is not. I hope they put him in the finals at least, but like at the same time, I don't think you could put an MVP, like pick a player as MVP and not make the playoffs.
Dude, they are so funny. But no, seriously though. Like you have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase like putting up the numbers they're putting up. And then Trey Hendrickson leads the league in sacks. So you would think, oh, their defense is good. No, and they're garbage. It's so crazy when you look at this Bengals team. It's so funny.
Literally can't run the ball. Like, Hannah.
It's crazy.
They usually don't need to.
Well, you got to close games.
Well, yeah. That's also true. I mean, even though Chase Brown had a good week, no?
Yeah, he
scored a touchdown and went into the little kettle, so fine, probably on incoming.
All of his stuff is receiving.
Like, that's also
true. Tackles
it's Devon Achane. Devon Achane's like 29% yards and like 81% or no 71% of just like receiving yards. That's like his whole like total like combination.
They had 74 rush yards in the game total.
Yeah, that's kind of wild.
74
in a game where you're up and you need to against the Cowboys, who are the worst rush defense.
But also like the Bengals offensive line is just atrocious too.
That's crazy. But yeah, no, Jamar, all the way, dude. Jamar's having quite a season. It's nuts. Good for him. And remember, he didn't play week 1. So this is also down a game. It's crazy.
Jamar played week 1.
No, he did not. Oh, no.
He did, but it was like so limited. Yeah, he played week 1. 6 catches for 62 yards against the Patriots.
Oh, I gaslit you about this then. Damn. My bad.
Wow. Average Dom things. Just gaslighting people.
I mixed him and T. Higgins up. Never mind.
T. Higgins hasn't played this year, Dom. I hope you understand that.
What?
T. Higgins hasn't played this year. I thought you knew that.
T. Higgins has not for my team.
He's gone.
No one's played.
He's 100% out of there. He does not want to come back.
Yeah,
he's done.
Patriots are going to offer him quarterback money.
So with 64 games now, all the bye weeks are done. 64 games till the playoffs. We have a lot of heated matchups in the playoff race now. It's down to the very end, the final stretch here. Which AFC playoff race team do you have the most concern about as we're entering this final stretch?
That they're bad.
Yeah. Are you talking
It
about
could be it could be like a team like in the wild card, a division leader, in the hunt, lurking, whatever you want to call like the.
Do you mean like
they're a problem or they suck?
No, I think he means
yeah, more so a problem. Like, oh hey, they can honestly like trip and fumble themselves
here, and I know where he's looking for all of our answers to be, and I'll give it to him. That's fine. I don't really care. The Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, it reminds me very much of the Steelers, and everyone's like, "Oh no, it's the defending champs." Blah blah. No, I don't care. I think it's finally catching up to these guys. Like their O-line is not nearly as good. They're kicking Mahomes' ass. Watching the game, I forget what they play Sunday night, right? They played Sunday night, yeah, because Bengals Cowboys were Monday night. The Chargers were in his lap. Like if the Chargers had like any decent receivers, they win that game by a mile. They're just like Quentin Johnson's their number one receivers. Like they really are, and no J.K. Dobbins. Like the Chargers would probably easily win that game, and they went on a doing field goal. Like this is the team that survived against against Carolina. This is a team that survived by the skin of their ass for the officials against Vegas. Like this team is very much Steelers undefeated season when they lost to the Commanders. Then everything went downhill. Like again, cool. I know Kansas City's got a Super Bowl winning coach. Mahomes is probably one of the best we've ever seen. This team has problems. Like it's gonna eventually catch up to them. Like I know it's kind of been like the Brady thing. It's like, oh wait till it happens. The Patriots aren't falling. I think this is really fraudulent from the Chiefs. They're skating by like the blocked field goal against the Broncos. Like there's no way you get away with murder this many times and don't get caught. Like you're not going to be able to get away with that in the postseason. Like I'm sorry.
Exactly.
So
all I'm going to say is it's not a coincidence. There's no way that this is a coincidence this many times. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I will say
Dom.
The AFC playoff picture is all but locked at the moment because there's a 2-game gap between the 7th team and the 8th team in the conference. So unless one of these 8-5 teams, one of these 4 8-5 teams, unless one of them kind of lose out, this is pretty much locked at what it is.
Well, the Texans can clinch their spots. They win in both loss.
Like right now, the only teams we should be talking about right now are the Chargers, the Broncos, the Ravens, the Texans, the Steelers, Bills, and Chiefs. Those are locks. That's pretty much our playoffs for the AFC.
And of those teams, the Chiefs have the second worst point.
I was thinking with this question, I was thinking more so the Texans because, well, CJ Stroud hasn't been playing up to par. He's been looking god awful. In a game against the Jaguars, they did not blow the doors off them in a game that we expect to. Obviously, with the Alshire hit, kind of like messed up the whole thing. But Stroud has not been playing good this year. Like that has honestly that sophomore slump has really come up on that, and it's just wild. So when I was thinking of this question, I was more so thinking about it in like that standpoint, not like in a different way.
They were who I was going to say because I knew someone was going to say the Chiefs because they're literally getting games handed to them.
By the way, this is what we're looking at. It's too small, huh? That kind of sucks.
Zoom your computer and see if that works.
Yeah, I could definitely.
Yeah, zoom it in. Zoom it in. There you go.
Okay.
That's all we got to see there. That's all we got to see.
All right. So, not even that. I do want to point 2 things out. One, the team that I was going to say is the Texans. I don't like where the Texans are. They also have the worst differential out of all these teams. And just the Texans haven't done anything decisively this season. Like nothing they have done this season has been like dominant whatsoever. And I don't like that. That sucks. That's hard to go into playoffs like that. The Browns have had more dominant performances, have done things more in a sure way than any Texans have done. Unfortunately, I hate that. The other thing I'd want to point out, because we just talked about it, if you go to all the teams that are out, look at the one team with a plus point differential, the Bengals. The rest are minus 28 or worse, and the Bengals are sitting there, man, with their record, with those stats with Lamar and Burrow, and a plus point differential. They're the only team out that has that. That's
technically the Bengals are still in the hunt. Like if the
yeah,
Broncos lose out, like if like those teams that are 8-5 like all like lose out, like they can sneak in, but obviously you need like hell to freeze over for that to happen.
Like I said, basically this is our playoff 1 through 7. Should pretty much if it's gonna change, it's gonna be one team out, one team in. That's it. So yeah. Do we want to are we talking NFC? No? You wanna
Hold on. I messed it up. I grabbed it. I want to get back to here. Okay. Oh, not that one. Which NFC team in the playoff race do you have the most concern about?
I have that one up if you want that too.
And the one in the NFC West.
Anyone in the NFC West, not just like one team?
Nope. Whoever wins the NFC West, there's where my concern is.
I was going to say like the Atlanta Falcons, who were supposed to run away with this division, and they lose to the Raiders on Monday Night Football in a national like televised audience. I think it's done for them. You're cooked. You're out. Chat, you're cooked.
I think right now a lot of all of these teams that are kind of on the cusp a little bit, like but in like the Commanders, the Packers, the Vikings, Bucks. Bucks ranked 4th at 7-6. Is it 'cause
They're a division leader.
Well, so okay, probably not the Bucks if they win the division, but these teams at the bottom really have fire under their ass with the Rams, because I feel like the Rams are the team that's like the sleeper team that's gonna end up getting in, because they've been playing decent, pretty good football. And they're kind of like heating up a little bit. They have their guys healthy. If there's going to be a team getting in on this, it's going to be the Rams, and they're going to play spoil, I feel like, to one of these teams. At least these teams have to watch out for that. So, I think that's kind of all I have to say about this picture. The Commanders and the Packers just need to stay on the path that they're on. Like, they got to just...
Yeah. The Rams, I think, can scare people with this.
Great.
Well, we also don't know what Tampa Bay really is.
No, we
Like,
don't.
Again, they can be scary.
Maybe.
4-time division winner. We don't even know what they can do. All right. Game of the week. What was your game of the week? Obviously, there was a handful of great games, but where are we looking at here from the best of week 14?
I mean, God, man, that game was Bills Rams, and Rams won. That's crazy. That's what I mean, dude. Like,
Yeah, in the Bills' house too. They won.
The Rams are in the perfect spot to squeak on it and be that team. I think that was a very showing game. I think that was a great game for the Rams. It was still a good game for the Bills, of course. I mean, they still threw up points. But, that was a phenomenal game for the Rams, a good game to watch for the crowd. So, yeah, my game.
I want to pick the Thursday night game, Lions-Packers. I mean, first half was meh, but second half, that was a great game. Packers came back. It looked like, maybe they can lock it in, win the game. And Detroit, another fourth down they go on. They convert 4 or 5 on the night, and then Jake Bates clinches it with the field goal. Yeah, I'm going to be picking Lions and Packers from last week.
I'll jump on that Monday game, man. I mean, you start to see like
the Simpsons game. You're jumping on that?
Absolutely, because of the Simpsons. Dan Orlovsky. No, you just got to see because the Bengals defense is so bad, like no game. So like any moment CD could just blow the game open. On one side, you see it all the time from Jamar Chase. It's like two top dog receivers going at it. I think it was just an entertaining game to watch on Monday night. It sucks.
What about you, Colton?
Yeah, you can give me either the Thursday night game or clearly Bengals Rams. Well hanging fruit, but that's fine by me. Those are both fun to watch.
And here we go. The best part of the show. Buy, sell, and hold for week number 15. Gentlemen, where are we looking at to buy, sell, and hold?
I'm buying into Bryce Young. I'm buying my Bryce
2
Young.
weeks in a row?
I'm going to buy my Bryce Young stock a season early. I've really enjoyed what Bryce Young's done over since his reemergence as the starting quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. Sure, the numbers aren't gaudy, but it's the drastic improvement of that. Oh, yes, this kid actually looks like he belongs. And now that you're adding some receiving pieces back in, like the fact that he almost led them down to – they were down 6, so they would have taken the lead. They probably ended up losing it anyway with a field goal at the end to Philly. But he drops that ball in a bucket to Xavier Legette and should have been a touchdown. Instead, he drops a football. Like, Bryce Young's playing really, really well. I'm spotting my stock a year early. I really don't have much to buy going in. And I guess Josh Jacobs, his performances the last 3 weeks. But definitely buying my stock early for one, Bryce Young.
So I was a big proponent of Tua should not play another game this year, which I still don't think is the worst idea because they're not in it for the playoffs. Correct.
Well, they technically they are the team out at the moment, so it's like. But like I said, that playoff picture is all but guaranteed at the moment.
Set.
So
It's
yeah,
set.
I think so.
So what does it matter this year to finish the game strong or to win a division next year? But I've learned that as long as he is in the game, Miami is a good team. It's true. Like they have a chance to beat anyone. They don't know if you're a winning team, but they have a chance to beat anybody if he is in the game.
I'm going to capitalize on what Jake said, but I'm going to buy into Jonnu Smith, who did not have a single catch in the entire game of 60 minutes, and then he goes into overtime and gets 3 catches, 41 yards, the game-winning touchdown. So I'll be buying into Jonnu Smith this week. What about you, Dom?
Man,
This segment comes every week at the exact same time every week.
No. I was contemplating if I wanted to. I was like kind of checking out all my held teams. This is a team I held week 11, and I'm gonna back up everything I've said in the past half hour, and I'm gonna buy the Rams. They're playing a good brand of football at the moment, and they are on a pace where, hey man, they could be that last team in at the end of the season. They could be that week 18 that makes it happen. So I'm gonna buy the Rams. And I'm gonna save a held team that I've had held since week 9 for next week, hopefully. So those are kind of wrapping up all my holds at the moment. And yeah. Rams.
And let's go to sells. What are we selling off of that we probably bought at some point this season?
I'm gonna go first. I'm
going first.
Mine's not a team.
Oh, he just told you to kick rocks.
Will is always the one that does this. It's not the weather. I'm not doing that crap. But I will say I am going to sell.
Oh, no.
This is across all the major sports. I'm going to sell whoever it is that makes the schedules because they blow. They suck. They're awful. They're terrible.
They make what?
The schedules for the seasons for every sport. For football sucks.
You could just say basketball. I know that's what it's about. The basketball schedule this week is brutal.
No. This is about this week. The fact that we have one of the games of the year probably in the Bills and the Lions. That's an insane game. Both of these teams need that win kind of to close it out a little bit. And that's a 4:00 game. Meanwhile, we have 2 Monday night games, and one of them is Falcons Raiders. Excuse me? You
do realize that's very different. Like, I guarantee NBC was trying to flex that game in. CBS is not coughing up that money
yeah.
that views are going to get. That's
But-
why. I mean, I get what you're saying. That's why that happens. They're
I know,
not giving that team up.
I get all that stuff, but I hate this. Like, this sucks. That's not.
Oh, I
good.
hear you. I mean, how many times? No offense. I mean, we saw all the fucking Jets last year on primetime, every freaking game last season, and some odd reason, like, we didn't learn our lesson. So, like,
Yeah.
but
that's-
Well, they don't play on prime time again, so I don't know why we keep on bringing up the Jets. Okay, they're dead. They're done. They can't hurt us anymore. Please, just stop. Stop.
My sell is sports schedules, the major sports schedules, because they never come up when you need them to. It sucks. That's my.
Yeah, I really hate that we have 2 Monday night games again. Like, just put that game like at a random time at like 4 o'clock.
Well, come on, the
Like,
Sunday
4
slate,
o'clock wouldn't be
7
even-
games. The Sunday has 7 games in the 1 o'clock hour. No 4:05 starts. All 5 games start at 4:25 for the
That's what
late
I'm saying.
window.
You couldn't put Raiders, Falcons at
This is what
4.
I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. What are we? What is?
But they
this?
do that week 8 too. They do like 7 1 o'clocks, and then they'll do like 6 4:25 starts. Like they don't do any 4:05.
That one makes more sense.
That's so that you can't just like take your starters out. It's like people are
Yeah.
competing for
Yeah, you can't allow Brett Favre to get the free sack, and someone gets upset over it, and the whole 10 yards.
Yeah.
Dom, thank God I thought your sell was going to go a different way, so I'm kind of glad.
Oh my! So I'm selling McDonald's. That's okay.
Okay.
I sell
All
McDonald's every day of my life.
All right. Okay. Let's try to get this back on track here. So for my sell, geez, Dom, you really put me into. You know what?
Will, I got it. Because I was.
Have I
ready.
sold them already? Let's see. Weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. I sold them week 8. That means they're gonna win on Sunday. I'm selling on the Jets again because, well, yes, I'm allowed to.
Oh man.
Last time I sold on them, they won. I'm just saying, like, poof.
Why is Will allowed?
I don't want them. I didn't say I want them to win. Last time I sold them, they won. So, like,
It kind of sounds like you want him to win.
I
think
don't want
Will-
them to win.
think
I don't want
Will-
them on my TV anymore. I don't want them on
think
my
Will
laptop.
should get
I don't.
banned. I think Will should get banned from one of these segments.
All right, Josh Block. He's
Hell,
gonna
I will.
get banned.
Go right in the
I'm
pantry.
getting banned from this.
Get right in the bathroom, Will. Time. It's time.
So
I'm getting banned.
I was gonna
I
sell
think
the
Will needs to get banned from one of these segments. So what are we on? Sells, you said?
Sell.
Oh, I'm selling on Kirk Cousins. This team sucks. The story of this team sucks. This is why I hated Atlanta last season. Then I'm like, oh, now we can actually talk about this team. Now I don't want to talk about it at all. Selling on Kirko. Get those chains out of my sight, Kirk Cousins. I'm done. Tired of this.
last week. I held the Falcons. Like, listen, if you don't even I don't care. You win or you have to win. I don't care if you put up a good performance against do sing. And they didn't, so they're getting sold. And I was gonna say it is Michael Penix coming. And I am not a Michael Penix fan, but it's Michael Penix time because holy crap, Kirk sucks. But throw all that out the window. I'm selling Will.
And what about holds? What are you going to hold on? I'm going to hold on to myself because I'm tired of the slander. So I'm going to hold on myself for this week.
Get out of here. Yeah, I'm going to hold you. I'm going to grab you by your hoodie and adios you go. I'm going to hold on.
You're going to give me that Will Smith treatment, getting like tossed around like a rag doll in the gym or out the front door.
He's a DJ.
Pretty much. Well, adios, amigos. I'm going to hold on to Seattle. I hate the NFC West. This reminds me of AFC South over the years. Like, dude, I don't want to see any of these teams in the playoffs. It's going to be painful. I'm not interested. Yeah, AFC South. Or NFC West, excuse me. God almighty.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know where to go with this. I had no idea. I'm like, I already helped Seattle in week 9, and they haven't done one thing or the other. Because
I helped week 8. No, I bought them week 8. Come on, my bad.
so
Good.
the only thing I'm really left with is all right, is Green Bay gonna move up to what they were talking about all off season? Because they're just kind of chilling there, and because they're stuck behind Minnesota and Detroit. I really don't know. Are they really good or are they good?
I'm gonna hold Arizona. They're queued up this week to play the Patriots. They can win that game. They can be on track to also. I mean, I bought the Rams because I think they're a hot team right now. But they're sitting in the same spot as the Rams. I just don't think they're as dominant and really put the fire under some of the asses of those NFC bottom teams in the playoffs. But Arizona has the chance to do that. So I'm going to hold Arizona. They need a win this week. If they lose this week, I think it's kind of over for them squeaking in on the bottom. But we'll hold them and see how this week goes. They need to win, and they can maybe make the run to try to get in the hunt.
Fruity came in here and says, "Are you guys buying or selling Chiefs winning the Super Bowl?"
Selling. Chiefs are not winning the Super Bowl.
A hard sell. And he says, "How do we feel about Juwan Jennings' performance tomorrow and a T. Higgins performance this week?" Dom, you could probably talk about T. Higgins and how you hate him. The whole 10 yards.
I'm selling T. Higgins. I'm selling T. Higgins is what I'm doing, actually. I'm going to put that on there. I'm selling T. Over the T. Higgins thing. I'm over it. He's not going to be on the team much longer. That's it. Selling him. And a team's going to buy him. And a team's going to buy for really high. And that's going to be, I'm going to sell
the Patriots. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to sell that contract too once that happens. I'm going to future sell that contract.
We do like Juwan Jennings tomorrow. We do like him tomorrow. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, week 15 picks. Let me get this thing up here, and bam, here we go. Last week, Colton won the week at 11-2, followed by Dom and I at 10-3, and Jake at 8-5. Jake blew his lead to Colton, and Colton hawked him just like how we hawked Dom last season.
That's right.
I'm back. I'm back.
16 more games to go. Well, 16 games this week, 64 more games to go for the season. So anything can happen between now and then. All right, let's get this going here.
Oh, my God.
Oh, did something get deleted? Oh, no, I just got moved up here. Okay. Thursday Night Football, Rams, 49ers. Yeah, here we go. Dom, you don't have any of your picks in here. I'm going to lock in my picks here.
Based on the last 45 minutes, you can assume I'm going to pick the Rams. Come on now.
Colton is lone wolfing the San Francisco 49ers here, ladies and gentlemen. Lone wolfing. So we could have a new leader come tomorrow. Who knows? And who knows what's going to happen here. Dallas goes to Carolina, and Carolina's first time being point favorites since December of 2022. A sweep of Carolina. I've never thought I'd see the day, but here we are. The day is here. Hell is frozen over. And Kansas City heads up to the dog pound to play famous Jameis and the Eaton W quarterback, and the Chiefs are going to win. So let me just skip over that really quick. Dolphins, Colton's their favorite team, plays the Houston Texans here. Okay. I'm lone wolfing the Miami Dolphins this week.
Will's just okay. This is fun.
All right. That's what we're doing. And Deja Vu Jets are playing the Jaguars in Jacksonville. And I am, again, lone wolfing the Jacksonville Jaguars. The other three are taking the New York Jets. You guys like the little travel guide I did. So going west there, I don't know what road it could be, but you have to go to Baton Rouge where Jaden Daniels returns to where right down the street he played college football there at LSU. He now plays in the Superdome playing the New Orleans Saints. Clean sweep here of the Commanders for us. I don't know what road you take, but you got to just fly all the way back to the armpit of America here in Jet Life, where we have the Ravens and a sweep here over the Giants. Going from the Central Time Zone to the Eastern Time Zone, back to the Central Time Zone, the Bengals face Brian Callahan, the former offensive coordinator in Tennessee, a.k.a. Nashville. We're all taking the Bengals here. 225 kickoff here because Arizona does not. No, it's 125. Forget about what I said there. I was thinking of daylight savings and all that stuff. But yes, the Patriots travel to State Farm Stadium, if that's still even the name of it. They play the Arizona Cardinals here. Dom, you are lone wolfing the New England Patriots here. Is this to celebrate Bill Belichick getting a dub? His dub at getting a head coaching position there at North Carolina.
It's not. I like Drake.
Okay. Drake May put up 375 and 4 touchdowns in the bye, and the Patriots still lost. But here we go. The Colts, they go from one mountaintop to another mountaintop where they play the Denver Broncos a mile high above sea level. Geez. I'm going to flip my pick here. I have too many flip-flops here. So we have a clean sweep here of Denver.
You scared of Dom or something?
Yeah.
Not really. And here we go. Game of the week, probably game of the year. Who knows? Buffalo Bills, Detroit Lions in the Motor City for a 25 kickoff. And we are all sweeping the Detroit Lions here. And from Detroit, we go all the way to SoFi Stadium, where the Buccaneers and the Chargers play. Who knows who's going to be the home fan here this time around, but we're all taking the Chargers here on the sweep. Coast to coast as we go, you have to go into LAX or Orange County, John Wayne Airport, fly all the way to Philadelphia to catch this matchup, where the Steelers and the Eagles play in the Battle of Pennsylvania. Or as Charlie Kelly says, there's 2 cities in the same state. That doesn't make any sense. We're all taking the Eagles here on this one. Coast to coast to coast to coast. We are going all the way back out to the West Coast here for Sunday Night Football. The Packers and the Seahawks battle here. Colton, a lone wolf here of the Green Bay Packers.
Go Pack, go.
Dun 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 dun. And a doubleheader Monday Night Football game. This one starts at 8:00. The Bears travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. We are all taking the Minnesota Vikings. And then at 8:30, the Falcons and the Raiders kick off in Las Vegas, and we are all taking the Atlanta Falcons. How we will probably regret this pick, we'll probably know by next week.
I tell you what. I regret telling you to sell Will, because I don't think the 3 of us could do what he just did as smooth and as well as he did. I will give him props for that. Naming airports, saying some.
He thought
I mean, he did a good job.
time zones was daylight.
No, it's Arizona.
No, Arizona doesn't celebrate the daylight saving. So I was still thinking that. So it would be 2:25, like before November, where they would play on Sundays.
I commend you for the effort on that, but that's too much math. That's crazy. I don't even know which one I don't know. But I will say you deserve the credit for that, because the 3 of us can do that as well as you're doing that.
Damn, I'm just finding out that Steelers game's at 4:25 Sunday.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, rounds out our show. We learned about time zones and times and airports and all sorts of stuff. We learned a whole lot of stuff today. As always, if TikTok does get banned, you can follow us on all these other great platforms here. YouTube for the Fan Network, TikTok, if you're watching on here, obviously we appreciate you, but for the Fan Network. X for the Fan _ and Instagram for the Fan Football. Good luck in your fantasy football playoffs for all those that are in or not in. Who knows? Hopefully you're in another sport. If you're not in the football playoffs, maybe you could get in like hockey or basketball or Quidditch or whatever stuff's there. Slippery Stairs Championship, Dom and I's second favorite sport next to football. But yeah, gentlemen, that's all I got. Do you have anything else here before we leave?
No, you suck.
All righty, I'm going to end the streams here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Tune in every Wednesday, live, 5 p.m. Eastern. We are For the Fan. Thank you all.